Hey everyone, Gale Network here, and welcome to PGN Live. It is September 4th, 2025, the release date of Hollow Knight Silksong. Pretty exciting. It has taken us quite a while to get here, hasn't it? But here we are. I hope that some of you have already picked up the game. Otherwise, maybe one of you will win the game. And I will explain that in a moment as more people start to show up. But come on into the chat. Today is our earlier stream. If we have a second stream today, that one will be considered the bonus one, because Thursdays are our earlier times, our earlier stream times. The rest of the days, we go for 3 p.m. Pacific. So let me just get some more things ready to go on this end. But make yourselves feel comfortable. Get talking, and let's have some fun. All right, we've already got several people in here. Trying to tighten up my pop-up chat, because if this stream's going to be anything like the last few, I'm going to have a lot to talk about, and it's going to get pretty wild pretty quickly, and I want to see what everybody has to say. Okay, that looks good. All right, we've got Pokemon Fan 34 in the house. Hello. The Cringe Prophet, good morning. Joycey J, hello there, Joycey. Playing some Resident Evil. Hey Mike, how's it going? Happy Silksong Day indeed. So I'm going to go work in 2 hours, so copies of Hollow Knight Silksong. Pokemon Fan 34 is asking, will Peach be on the stream? Maybe. Oftentimes it's Peach. There is no fun, only Zool, says Joycey. All right, well, we've already got 15 people tuning in. That's a nice start. You know, the morning streams don't have a designated time. They just kind of happen. So thanks for being here, because, you know, I've gone at like 11:30, 12 Pacific, which for most people at this point, I guess, in the United States is already technically early afternoon. But I've also done something like 10 o'clock or 9:30, such as it is right now, which is still kind of late morning for, you know, Central folks, and then maybe just barely top it into Eastern time. If you're in Florida, like Mike is, who's in the chat or something like that, you know, on the East Coast. Of course, if you're in another country, hey, maybe this is an ideal time. Maybe you're getting off of work, and that's why you're able to tune in. But yeah, thanks for being here, regardless. Nin128, I'm so confused on your schedule. Thought it was 3 in the evenings. That's what I was just talking about. Yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Typically, we shoot for evenings, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. But Thursday is the morning stream. It's just not a designated time, which does make it a little bit tough to follow. Like, nothing's better than for people in the audience to know, hey, when is this person streaming if I want to tune in, right? And I get that. I just don't have a set time for Thursdays. Better Call Paul. That's right, Crazy Scott. And Pokemon Fan, you're on the East Coast too. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna pull the people right now. Did you get, or are you getting, Hollow Knight Silksong today? Yes, no, or not today, but will eventually. All right, here we go. Are you getting Hollow Knight Silksong today, or did you already get it? Yes, no, or not yet, but you plan to. That'll be interesting. So the game has already had an explosive morning, and it looks like, if you had to guess, what system is it going to sell the most on? I kind of think probably the consoles in which their digital shops had the most struggle or crashed. That would seem to be the indicator. And in that case, probably is the Nintendo Switch eShop and Steam. So right now, I'm willing to bet that's where the game is selling the most. After all, it is on Xbox Game Pass, so you don't really have to outright buy it there, though I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of people out there that just buy the game a la carte on Xbox One or Xbox Series, right? Or play it on Game Pass and then later on buy it afterwards, perhaps. Folks are going to be buying it on PlayStation. I mean, it's on all platforms, so when you're selling to a predecessor that has 15 million units out there that have been selling it for the last 8 years, that's pretty high. Guess Steam might beat Switch out? Maybe. I mean, Steam is on basically any PC out there in the world, right? And that's a lot. That's a lot. It's not just Steam Deck. It's, you download the ability to play PC games that come out for it on this product called Steam, and there you have access to it. Steam crashed apparently, according to Joyce. Yes, Pokemon Fan 34. It did. eShop was struggling too. Crazy Scott, you're waiting for the physical. That's cool. According to the poll, no one in the chat has picked up Hollow Knight Silksong yet. Cool. I mean, interesting. We'll see if that changes. But it looks like a good portion of you, in fact 71% right now, do plan on getting it eventually. And some just said no, which I guess if you said no, that kind of indicates you don't have a plan on buying it at all. But, because otherwise you would have put no eventually, right? Okay. Well, I don't know how visible necessarily the video game sales page is for you, but that's why I'm here, to read it off. Because in addition to today being, a streaming day to talk about video games, news, whatever's going on in the industry, etc., hype for Hollow Knight, we've got our giveaway, which is cool. Somebody might win. More than one person might win. You never know. But also, it's Thursday morning. And that means video game sales update coming to you from Japan. So we could go over that now. We got any sales numbers? We do have sales numbers, but not on Hollow Knight Silksong. Not yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if Team Cherry, as late as tonight, or as early as tonight, and perhaps slightly more likely tomorrow, touting some numbers of thank you to our amazing community. Hollow Knight Silksong has already cleared 2 million copies sold in the first 24 hours or something like that, Obviously, if they announced something today, it wouldn't be in 24 hours. It would be, we're proud to announce that we've already received 1 million downloads before our first day is even up. Something like that. Like, the game's going to sell a lot. It's going to be the most successful, biggest opening indie game sales-wise ever. Will it go on to being the best indie game sales-wise of all time? Well, we'll see. But for opening day, yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. Tsukino Ame, welcome. You picked up camper van today, or camper van make it home today. I remember you talked about that the other day. That's cool. Hmm. Okay, cool. I'm pretty much caught up to chat, I think. All right. Should we get into today's giveaway and the details on it? Or should we get into the video game sales numbers coming to us from Japan from August 25th to August 31st, which some of you could already see on screen and might even be reading this whole time? Where would you like to begin? In the meantime, I'll read a couple of more comments. I am a stay-at-home dog mom to 2 dogs, so I am always around most of the time. That's good. Nothing wrong with being a dog mom or a dog dad or a cat mom or a cat dad, you know? Pets are awesome. Are you giving away Woolly Yoshi? Not my Woolly Yoshi. My Woolly Yoshis are right there. You can see them. I got the big boy and the little ones. And Poochie. I think Poochie is next to them, or on the other side, I should say. I can't see Poochie from here. I'm not giving my Poochie away. The Cringe Prophet says, I say do Famitsu. You know what? The Cringe Prophet, we're going to do Famitsu. That's the first answer that I saw. So that's the first one we're going to do. All right. If anybody shows up later, I could always go over it again. But for now, for those of you that are here, here are the top 10 best-selling video games in Japan for the week of August 25th through August 31st. This only accounts for physical sales, too. Keep in mind. In the number 1 spot, we don't always see a PlayStation title take the number 1 spot in Japan, but it was Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater for PS5. It was a new title, and it debuted at 65,585 copies sold. Super Robot Wars Y for Nintendo Switch was number 2 at 60,532 copies. In third place, another Nintendo Switch game, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, another new spot on the list with 46,586 copies sold. In fourth place, Mario Kart World for Nintendo Switch 2 with 35,185 copies sold. You could see that's an evergreen title. It's hanging in there. 3 months later, still selling, and it's going to continue doing so for quite a while. In fifth place is Super Robot Wars Y for PlayStation 5. So right there you could kind of see the difference. 60,000 for this new game, Super Robot Wars Y for Nintendo Switch, and half of that, 30,000 for the same game on PlayStation 5. You could see the difference in popularity between Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Not necessarily every time does a Nintendo Switch game equivalent outsell the PS5 title, but more often than not, it does. In sixth, we've got Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, the Nintendo Switch 2 version, at 18,148. Once again, you can still see that install base of Nintendo Switch really being important because the Nintendo Switch version of this game outsold the Nintendo Switch 2 version. But hey, good for Story of Seasons, good for Marvelous. I'm glad that they're experiencing some solid software sales across multiple platforms. In seventh, we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This is with the Star-Crossed World bundle. So this doesn't account for anybody who, one, is buying the bundle on eShop, or two, is just buying the upgrade for the Star-Crossed World, a la carte on eShop, like I did. I already had the game on Nintendo Switch. I just upgraded for $20 for that version on Nintendo Switch 2. This doesn't account for that. but it still sold 12,174 copies. In 8th, you've got Donkey Kong Bonanza with another 10,440. That's solid, as the game is approaching 2 months as of this chart. It's several weeks, but still evergreen. Now, how evergreen will Donkey Kong Bonanza be? That remains to be seen. But if it's still charting more often than not from now until December, that would be really nice to see, because that would be like a good 5 months to still be there, more weeks than not, which means probably selling 10,000 plus a week, getting a bump up around the holidays. That'd be solid. In 9th, we've got Lost Soul Aside for PS5 with 7,374 copies. And in 10th, we've got Minecraft, one of the kings of Evergreen, with 7,344 copies, in particular the Nintendo Switch version. And that's why Microsoft Game Studios is having some success in Japan, because of their presence on Nintendo Switch. And if it wasn't for Nintendo Switch, Microsoft really wouldn't be making any money in the Japanese market. I'll get to hardware sales in just a moment. In the meantime, let me see what else we've got in chat, because I've seen that you're all popping off. And we have 16 people watching now too, if I'm not mistaken. So that's more folks showing up in here. Woolly Yoshi are so cute. Yeah. Is it Friday yet, Crazy Scott? I mean, if you're in Australia, it is. If you're in Japan, it is. Don't worry. We're almost there here in the United States. Metal Gear, you figured would be first. Pokemon Fan 34. Yeah, it's a new game. I think it'll stay on this chart for upwards of 3 weeks. Hopefully it doesn't just like drop off and isn't on here next week, but it could. I don't think it will, though. I think next week, it'll be 36,000 or something like that. It'll have a not quite 50% drop, but we'll see. With Metal Gear Solid Delta, I keep hearing people say MGS3 was their favorite. That was your least favorite. I found it annoying to always have to hunt for food. Yeah, that dynamic added to some realism in a way, but it also had some more micromanaging than what people were used to in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, right? So I can see the trade-off, yeah. Egomaniac 87, hello there, welcome. Matthew Sally, hello there, how you doing today? DK Bonanza was awesome, yes it was. Everyone liking the stream? I hope so. Cool. I think we're caught up now. And I just see some more talk amongst yourselves, which is always great to see. Okay, let's get into hardware sales. In hardware, Nintendo Switch 2, once again, no surprise, was the best-selling console of the week, with 41,957 units sold. That's up from the previous week. See, if you ever see someone saying, oh, look, Nintendo Switch 2 sales are down, it's not down because of a lack of interest. It's down because of a lack of stock. Also, if you ever see someone saying, oh, look at this photo online, there are 12 Nintendo Switch 2s just chilling in that Walmart display case. Yeah, for now, yes, in that one store, that store might have gotten 20 in their Monday shipment, and between Monday and Thursday, they sold 8. And now you're looking at that picture taken on Thursday where there's 12 left, but by next Monday, those 12 will be gone. And that might just be one location, not selling all 20 stock instantly as soon as they get it, but they will sell it. And in most territories, they're selling out of their shipment of 15 or 35 or whatever within the first day or few. And in Japan, same thing. Nintendo has to distribute hundreds of thousands of units per few week period of time, millions throughout each quarter into every territory to satisfy as many people as possible. Not easy when you have a hot selling system, but good for Nintendo. In second place, anyhow, back to the chart, Nintendo Switch sold 20,585. Isn't that awesome to see? The 8.5-year-old system sold half of what the new Nintendo Switch 2 did. And that's why Nintendo Switch isn't going anywhere anytime soon. That's why, unless Nintendo decides to stop manufacturing Nintendo Switches to free up more space in production lines to create more Nintendo Switch 2s, they're going to continue making Nintendo Switch, and it's going to hit 160 million. Because tens of thousands per month add up to hundreds of thousands per quarter, add up to a few million per year. And it's going to take a while before it stops selling a few million per year worldwide. Look, in Japan alone, Nintendo Switch has already hit 1 million for this year. And you've got, from this chart till the end of the year, the entirety of September, October, November, December. You've got 4 months. And one and a half of those months is like big time holiday sales, from November through December. Like 6 of those weeks, sales really ramp up a lot. So you're going to potentially hit 2 million. That's another million that's added on. And that's just Japan. So yeah, United States has tariffs with the price increase, but that's not affecting every country out there. So relax, folks. Nintendo Switch is doing just fine. It doesn't just stop once a successor comes out. There's still a market. There's still a market for a lower priced, safer entry point of a console, especially when you have a vibrant market of 120 million plus active Nintendo Switch users out there. They want to play, and people will talk. In third place, you've got PlayStation 5 with 8,304 units. Less than half of Nintendo Switch. And then in fourth, you have the Xbox Series with 389. Not even a dent, really. And then, in fifth, sometimes it's worth mentioning still, PlayStation 4 with 16 units sold. Let's see what the chat has to say. 3DS sold 5 billion. What? No, 3DS didn't sell 5 billion. 3DS didn't sell 5 billion. 3DS sold a lot, but not that much. Nintendo Switch has already passed it. Okay. Catching up to chat again. Furious Junker, you've never played. Hollow Knight. If you are worried about like FOMO, everyone talking about Silksong, but you've never played the first Hollow Knight, I don't think spoiler-wise you have too much to worry about if you wait on Silksong and buy Hollow Knight first. So I would probably recommend picking up the first Hollow Knight. But if you want to be a part of the culture more and experience what everyone else is experiencing simultaneously, so you can talk about it, talk about this boss, look at a live stream, get stuck in an area, seek help here, boom, 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 and just be a part of the here and now. You're also not going to be ruining the experience by doing Silksong first and then Hollow Knight second. You know what I mean? So it'll be fine if you play it out of order. Ideally, I guess you play Hollow Knight first and then Silksong, but it's all good. You'll be fine either way. Microsoft needs to put all the games on Switch. Yeah, Crazy Scott. I think more and more is going to come. Pokemon Fan 34. Do you have any Oh wait, hold on. Do you think I have any shot of Pokemon Coliseum or Pokemon Paul Gale of Darkness coming to GameCube NSO this month or not, since N64 got an update this month? Thoughts? Good question. Since I fully believe that we are getting a Nintendo Direct next week, the likelihood goes up for Pokemon XD Paul Gale Network of Darkness to be released this month, or Pokemon Coliseum, because with a Nintendo Direct comes the likelihood of Nintendo Switch Online talk. The likelihood of NSO talk comes with a Shadow Drop increased likelihood. So one of those two games just being dropped suddenly on like September 11th or 12th makes sense to me. So I would say so. Notorious, hi there. The Cringe Prophet, yep, that's right. You said it correctly. Pokemon XD. You've got Gale of Darkness, Paul Gale of Darkness, and Paul Gale Network of Darkness. It's a trilogy. Boo Mini, hi there, welcome. Tsukino Ame, my Walmart only gets 3 Nintendo Switch 2s a week. It's a small Walmart. Yeah? They probably all sell out pretty quickly, right? Pokemon Fan 34, slowly creeping up to PS2 and DS. Yes, it is. Egomaniac 87, the Switch is a great system. Absolutely. Oh, the Switch 2 is nice. I bought a grip for mine. I have long fingers for a girl. Hey, good. I'm glad you're enjoying the grip. Hopefully that helps. Yes, 3DS was still getting games into Switch 1. Yeah, 3DS still selling games. And units still selling. Tsukino Ame, you were in the math club in middle school. You love geometry. That's cool. I love statistics. Oh, you give me math to dissect. Tell me to look at the stock market. That's my jam. Boo Mini, you'll get Silksong at some point after you beat Hollow Knight. Nice. Algebra, greater than geometry. Darren Nye, I've played a bit of the first game. It was pretty cool. Good. Best thing about getting FOMO, the games will be there later. True. Darren Nye, hi Paul, first time on your live stream. Welcome, Darren. I'm glad that you're here. Do y'all hear that? That's Alarmo going off. You know, wherever I'm in the house, when I start hearing Alarmo going off, I'm like, wait. Oh, must be 7 o'clock. If I don't have a watch on or something. Boomini, you're really happy with the Switch 2 Pro controller? Me too. I love it. It's one of the best controllers, if not the best, ever. It's excellent. Okay, I'll answer the last 1 or 2 questions, and then we've got to go over the giveaway, because I'm not just making you all wait on purpose. We just had some fun stuff to talk about. And some people, this might be your first time to the channel, like Darren Nye. And you're like, well, is this giveaway thing real? What's going on? What's up with it, right? So we'll get into that. But the last question, I guess I'll answer for now. James Vipperman, what are the chances of Conquer coming to NSO? I think they're pretty good. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we've seen that Nintendo and Microsoft have maintained a pretty healthy relationship, teaming up with each other in the past to have the likes of, Banjo-Kazooie coming to Nintendo Switch. They made it happen via the NSO app. And Banjo-Tooie, some licensed stuff that has a lot of complexities in it, such as GoldenEye 007. And also Perfect Dark, which is a rated M game. And that's an important part of this, because not only is it Microsoft and Rare, but it's Microsoft and Rare and Nintendo, and the fact that it's an M-rated game. So they were willing to have an M-rated title on the NSO via its own kind of app. Conker's Bad Fur Day is rated M, as you know. So that falls in the Banjo-Kazooie territory of it being a Rare-owned thing. isn't as complex as GoldenEye 007 because it's not something that's shared out there with another owner. And it's rated M like Perfect Dark. So I think we do get Conker's Bad Fur Day eventually. You should play the Mighty Pooh theme song. I could, Pokemon Fan 34. Video game music requests are $1. Video game trailer requests are $2. Once we hit $100 in the stream, that's when we play any copyrighted music and any non-video game trailers. But let's get into the giveaway. So if you're new to this live stream, what we do is every stream, when we reach Nintendo $64 in subscriptions, gifted subs, or super chat donations, I give right back to the community one $10 eShop card. Pretty cool. Today, however, I'm raising the stakes. It's almost too good, honestly, but Hollow Knight Silksong is a big deal. So for every Nintendo $64 that the stream makes today, I'm giving out a copy of Hollow Knight Silksong. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a $20 gift right there. So as in past streams, if we make $128, $256, yeah, normally that's $20 in eShop cards, $40 in eShop cards. No, today it's going to be, that's 2 copies of Hollow Knight Silksong given out. That's 4 copies of Hollow Knight Silksong going up. So right now, our status for the stream is at 0 of $64, and that's fine. You never have to pay anything to be a part of these streams. The conversation is live, it's fun, it's free, it's engaging. Y'all talk amongst each other, talk with me, get your fix of gaming news, get your fix of video game sales data, and just have fun. But if you want to add to the stream, or towards the shorts, or towards one another having a chance at winning an eShop card, or in today's case, Hollow Knight Silksong, that's how we get there. So now you know. 10,000 Noodles, welcome. Boo Mini, you're skipping giveaways. I would like everyone to win an eShop card at least once. I think that would be cool. That would be cool. You know, I might do something interesting today. Maybe. Since I am raising the stakes in what I'm giving out, which is a full-on digital copy of Hollow Knight Silksong to every Nintendo $64 we get, boom, giving 20 back to the community. In which, if you think about it, is pretty darn good. I think I might also do this. For subscribers in the channel, you'll get 2 entries. So you know how we normally have that type 1 in the chat if you want to be entered in? And if there are 20 people here and 20 people hit that number 1 button, there's a 1 in 20 chance at winning. Pretty darn good. But if you have green in your name, you'll be entered in twice. So you'll have better odds. Now, if there are 20 people and all 20 are green, then you know you have a just as equal of odds. Instead of 1 in 20, you have 2 in 40. So the math works. But if there are like 10 green folks, gray folks also make up 10, then you have better odds. So then you get entered in twice. And that's to say, if everybody enters. You know, you have somebody like Boo Mini, for instance, who just said, I'd rather not enter. I would like someone else to win. Pokemon Fan 34, you're giving away Woolly Yoshi. No. No giveaway. I want a cute Woolly Yoshi plush too. Same. Let me see. Let me take them out. Oh, we've got these guys right here. I've got to look for Poochie. Let me show off these boys or these girls. I don't know. We've got the OG.
Yoshi.
Green Yoshi. The icon. Classic. You've got Pink Yoshi. He has been around. She has been around. They have been around for quite a while. Amiibo came out when my son came out. Amiibo and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U coincided with the birth of my son. So, Amiibo, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and my son are all turning 11 in November. Johan S., what day is the Direct next week? Highly likely, Johan, Thursday or Friday, September 11th or 12th. We don't have the date yet, but it's looking like it's going to be one of those two dates. Light Blue Yoshi. I like this one quite a bit. It's like that B5 blue from Dodge. If you're familiar with Dodge's color schemes, like for the Dodge Charger, for instance, they have this color scheme called B5 blue. And looks kind of like this. Then you've got the big boy. Mega Yarn Yoshi. This is the one that you want. No, I'm not giving this away on stream. I could never do that. I've had this guy for like 10 years. But he's awesome. In comparison, look at that. Look at that size difference. I dig it. I dig it. I love when Nintendo does the different type of amiibo. Of course, now that amiibo prices have gone up, this thing would be like $100. Like, dude, come on. You know? Probably. Yeah, that's one thing. Amiibo have gone up quite a bit. They increased by more than just a small percentage. However, you've seen some start to go down, too. Fawn, hey there. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty well, thank you. How are you doing? Good to see you here. Darren Nye, do you think Metroid Prime 4 release date will be revealed next week? Heck yeah, I do. Gosh dang it, there's not much time left. It's going to be December 31st in just a few months. And what are you going to do? Like, drop it today? On December 31st? No, come on. Okay. Oof. If somehow Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is not shown off, well, I should say, not necessarily not shown off, but if somehow it just says still releasing in 2025 and the release date is not shown off, it's not revealed, next week on Thursday or Friday, dang, that is really weird. It's already really odd it being known about for this long, having this many years of development, being told 2025 as long ago as it was, which at this point is like 14 months ago, it being playable back in April and since then, and to still not have a date, and to have this mystery surrounding, well, is Metroid Prime 2 and 3 gonna come out as a bundle? So I think next week, Thursday or Friday, we know Metroid Prime 4 Beyond's release date. And then potentially get 2 and 3 shadow drop that day or sometime shortly thereafter. Fine, you're doing okay, but could be better, but overall okay. Well, hopefully this stream adds a little bit of entertainment and happiness in your day. Darren Nye, super pumped for Metroid, absolutely. Egomaniac87, I'll be alarmed if we don't get a release date next week for MP4. Yeah, me too. Me too. The Cringe Prophet and Tsukino Ame, 10,000 Noodles, talking about coffee and boom, boom, boom. I'm caught up. Okay, we got two more. From Published and Fawn. Let me read that. We've got 21 people watching now, by the way, which is pretty sweet.
Now that I use Monday
That means
service,
if we do
AI
all of a
makes solving
sudden
tickets my
get
form of
a...
meditation.
If we do all of a sudden get a giveaway going, we're looking at a 1 in 23 chance of winning. That's still pretty good. Windows admin, you giving away Silksong? Yes, I am. So, Windows admin, and those of you that have just joined because our stream is going up, whenever this stream reaches $64 in super chats, donations, gifted subs, subscriptions, etc., I normally give back $10 instantly to the community via an eShop card, digital. But today, I'm kind of raising it up. For every $64 the stream makes, I'm giving away one copy of Hollow Knight Silksong. So basically a third of what the stream makes, I'm giving back. And YouTube already takes away a third, so 2/3 of the stream revenue, boom, going away. And that's okay, because I would like to have a happy community that all bundles up together and has a good time and gets something cool out of being here, something different. Lots of cool streamers out there, lots of good folks. Then everybody operates a little bit differently. That's what I'm doing a little bit different. Let's see what else we've got. Nintendo sure knows how to not do the expected, though, says Published. Yeah, that's true. More often than not, for better than worse. Fawn, do you think Mario Galaxy 2 will come to Switch? I do. I don't know how realistic it is, but for me, I think a good plan is release Super Mario 3D All-Stars 2 for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. You include in it Super Mario 3D Land HD, Super Mario 64 DS HD, and Super Mario Galaxy 2 Remastered. $60. Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2. Limited time, call it 6 months on the market. However, if you purchased the Nintendo Switch version and were not able to get the Nintendo Switch 2 version because, well, you didn't have the system yet and you eventually want to get one, but just not now, you could buy the Nintendo Switch version, digitally or physically, and later on still upgrade for free or for $10 or whatever to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and that would be fine. And you simultaneously also bring back Super Mario 3D All-Stars, both for NS and NS2 this time around, once again, for a limited time of like 3 months or something, 6 months. Call it 6. 6 for both. But yeah, I think we get Super Mario Galaxy 2. And I think we do something a little bit more with it than just porting it over. I mean, to be fair, it's such a fantastic game that it would play well and be received well. You'd also get 3D Mario looking a little bit better. And dual analog stick controls, which would also be new for the game because on Wii it didn't have that. So it would be pretty dope. But imagine if they gave it a fresh coat of paint like they did with Metroid Prime Remastered, in which a lot of the polygon work in that game was improved. That'd be pretty cool. Will Nintendo announce it on Monday? Mario Galaxy 2 or what? If you mean Mario Galaxy 2, I mean, I don't know. Or unless if you're talking about the Nintendo Direct. They have announced directs with more than 24-hour notice before. I mean, we've known about some for weeks in advance. So it's possible they announce it Monday for that week's Thursday or Friday or something like that. Or they may decide to wait until like Wednesday to say tomorrow. We'll see. Tsukino Ame, you're not entering the giveaway. You want someone who really wants Silksong to get it. That's cool. James Verman, does anyone think Paul should do countdowns for Metroid Prime 4 and a new 3D Mario dressed as Mario and Samus? You know, if I had a really cool Samus Aran live action suit, heck yeah, I would. Absolutely, I would. I do have a blow up Mario on Yoshi costume that I could wear. That guy, hey there, welcome, that guy. Windows admin. LOL, my name is Windows admin indeed. You like my name? I don't know Windows admin if you watch my shorts, but Windows 95, I did a shorts of Today in Gaming History of its release just several days ago. Its 30th anniversary. So you might like that. Published. Have you seen any of the videos showing gameplay from Mario Galaxy 3 made in Dreams app? Impressive fan project for sure. Yes, I have. That was impressive. Dang, the things that you can make in Dreams, the things that people have made, is really wild. And that's no longer available. You can't just get Dreams on PS5. So it's sort of stuck in time. People will still be making stuff for it, but not available to buy and download, moving forward. It's almost too powerful of a tool, according to some publishers out there. The Male 518, when is Mario Galaxy 2? I think the big next new grand epic 3D Mario game is going to be like a fall 2026 release. That's my hope. Slight expectation. But that being said, I think it's entirely possible that we get Super Mario Galaxy 2 remastered this holiday season. It wouldn't take away too much from Donkey Kong Bonanza sales because it's not an entirely new game. So DK Bonanza could continue to thrive. But Mario Galaxy 2, like remastered or HD or whatever they would call it, would also do quite well because a lot of people are itching for a new 3D Mario game. And this is old, and old enough that it would be new to many people. So I think we get holiday. Joycey J saying directs are usually I usually have a 24 to 48 hour notice. Yeah. Darren, you think I should do a countdown? I mean, I'll be doing some more countdowns in the future. I've got some stuff planned. As you saw yesterday, it was 212 days until the release of the Super Mario World movie. Now, I'm not doing a countdown every day for it, but there will be updates made. Crazy Scott, once we get release dates for Metroid Prime 4, we better be getting a countdown. Watch. Crazy Scott, what's going to happen is Nintendo's just going to say Metroid Prime 4 out now. They're going to just drop one of the biggest games of the year on the eShop right then and there and say physical edition releasing in a month or something like that. Just kidding. I don't think that that's going to happen. That would be kind of wild. And in that case, I wouldn't be able to do a proper countdown, but would still be able to do a countdown to the physical. J Biggs, Mr. NY for life. Hey there. Hey, cool. You didn't get Silksong, but you got Star Wars this morning. How have you been liking it? Or do you like it? I mean, you bought it, so I'm hoping that you like it. What do you think so far, J Biggs? That would be bananas if Prime 4 was shadow dropped. Oh, can you imagine? Could you imagine the happiness, but also the shock? And could you imagine the potential disappointment by folks if it was released digitally first and then had like this crazy 1 month, 2 month, 3 month wait until the physical version? Oof. I don't know if that would go over with a lot of people well. By the way, if any of you out there are looking for a game that's different, a detective game, murder mystery, something a little bit that's, well, something a little bit different. Well, a lot bit different than what you normally get. The Murder Hotel launched today on Steam, and later in the year will be coming to Nintendo Switch eShop, Q4, probably October. That's my guess. October, Halloween kind of. Who watched today's shorts? What did you think of this one? I'm gonna play it just in case some of you haven't seen it yet. I'll play it right now, and you can tell me what you thought. First, I'm gonna end this poll. Okay, now we have a little bit of a better gauge. 42 people have voted. Did you get or are you getting Hollow Knight Silksong today? 21% said yes. 31% said no. 48% said not today, but will eventually. So it looks like, at least within this community, of the 42 people that voted, 69% do plan on getting the game. That's a pretty healthy amount. Johan S., you're looking forward to Metro Prime 4. Nice. Darren Nye, you would love Metro Prime 2 and 3 Remastered, Shadow Drop, with 4 release date announcement. That would be good. That would be potentially ideal. Joycey J, I still want to play Emio. It's on the list. You know, Joycey, I still have the Emio mask. Is Silksong hard? It's a challenging 2D action adventure platformer, but I think the difficulty ramps up appropriately. James Vipperman, if Prime 4 was shadow dropped, the eShop would crash. Dude, the eShop would crash, and like X would have some experience issues. Because I think even though I'm not anticipating Metro Prime 4 Beyond to be like a 15 million seller, even though I would love it to be, I think it's a big enough game that you'd have like a good 1.5 million people download it instantly and instantly go online and live stream it on YouTube, live stream it on Twitch, go on X, etc., TikTok, and start making videos and posts, etc. And some of these sites would get bombarded and have some kind of technical issues. Why do I have a bandage on my head? Oh, yeah. I had a little procedure done several days ago, so I'm advised to put a certain ointment there and a bandage to keep things moist and heal properly and stuff like that. Darren Nye, you're enjoying Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Yeah, I haven't downloaded nor have I purchased the main game yet, but the demo was so good. Lily Young, Hollow Knight Silksong is crashing the eShop today. Yeah. It's not a band-aid, it's actually a microchip, says the Cringe Prophet. Cool. I think we're caught up again. Alright, we'll play this, just for those of you in the chat that haven't seen it yet, or maybe you have seen it, but you thought it was funny, so we'll do it again.
Take this. What? Today in gaming history, September 4th, 1993, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters launched for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega Genesis in North America. Cowabunga!
Cowabunga for life. High 3. Turtle power. That was a fun one. That was a fun one to do. I'm enjoying these daily video game history updates, you know? At the very least, you're just getting some facts. At most, the fact becomes a little bit of a skit, like I did with GoldenEye 007, for instance, you know, which is pretty fun. Joycey J, you need a gaming vacation for like a year? Yeah. No work, no responsibilities, just playing video games for a whole year. Whew. Nice. J Views, hey there. Good to see you. Thank you for showing up. Windows admin, you like the figurine collection back there? It looks cool. Thank you. I've got some cool stuff. Link on the King of Red Lions from First Four Figures. Samus Aran, Hylian Shield. Mario on Yoshi, also from First Four Figures. Well, same with the shield. And then a Lego Bowser amiibo. Right over here next to my shoulder, you've got Majora's Mask from F4F. Let's see on this side. You've got Ryu from Street Fighter V. A box of Samus, different than that Samus up there from F4F. The Master Sword. My book, Lisek's Great Adventure. And some stuff that you can't see behind it. Donkey Kong Bonanza towel. Labo VR. A lot of fun stuff. Published. New plan. Nintendo creates a Switch Legends tier for NSO, and it's a handful of their best Switch games available with the membership. I do expect there to be a new tier eventually. And in that new tier, it could be like, here's where any new consoles made after the following date will have a place on. Like, maybe they add one more old one to the regular NSO plan. Like if they do a, TurboGrafx 16, that gets added to the old one or something like that. To the expansion pack, maybe it gets something else like, a Sega Saturn or Sega Dreamcast. But to a third tier, that's for, all right, DS, 3DS, Wii U. We're getting into some weird territory. Like, really? Wii U? I don't see that happening. Neither do I. But I'm just saying, like, if it's too new of a system, that's where we would see it. And then potentially Nintendo Switch 2 games being available, and whether they're there permanently, like NSO currently, or temporarily, like Xbox Game Pass. Good possibilities published. J-Views waiting for Silksong to finish downloading. Heck yeah. Darren Nye. I'm 50. I like to show my kids the history of retro games. That's super cool. Yeah. I'm 42, and, similarly, I like introducing my kids to what I grew up with what my wife grew up with. It's super cool. Yvonne Francois, hello there, welcome. Johan S., I'm a big Metroid fan. Yeah, me too. Steak 1024, how's it going? How's it going, Steak 1024? Good to see you here. We haven't given away anything yet, but today's giveaway is a little bit different than normal. Instead of giving a $10 eShop card away once we hit $64 in the chat, we're giving away a copy of Hollow Knight Silksong. So that's $20 value. Pretty cool. It's also a morning stream though, and usually our morning streams are a little bit less volume filled in terms of people here. But that's okay. There's quite a few of you here anyways right now at 24, hopefully having a good time. Lily Young, enough Wii U games have been remastered for Switch. I have to go to class. See y'all later. See you later. Yeah, I don't see Wii U games, being available on NSO. If anything, all Nintendo really has to do is bring back or bring to Nintendo Switch 2, a few games that are still stuck on Wii U, like Yoshi's Woolly World. A lot of people want this guy on Nintendo Switch because this is a really good game, and not a lot of folks experienced it. 1.7 million or something like that. Not bad. Good. But could it enjoy 3.2 million sales on NS and NS2? Yeah. Johan S., you come from Sweden. Very cool. So it's a whole different time right there for you. It's what, like 7:30 at night? Something like that? It's got to be about 7:30 at night. That's my guess. It's 7:33 p.m. for you on this fine Thursday evening. Published says, another video I wonder if you have watched is the girl who made the Wind Waker boat and actually sailed around it on a lake. I saw that when she put that up a couple of weeks ago. So cool, so impressive. Like, dang, did she do a good job. Really, really impressive. I've seen some amazing cosplay over the years. When I was more active on my own website, paulgalenetwork.com, I always highlighted the heck out of anybody talented with a piece of artwork, cool costume, cosplay, that kind of thing. This would have definitely been amongst the top there. Yeah, really cool. Johan S. 730. Heck yeah, see, I was pretty good there. J. Biggs, Mr. NY for life. My daughter does not care about watching what I grew up with. She does like watching the different Scooby-Doo theme songs when I sing along. Darn. Well, at least there's that, At least you have some fun sharing some of your nostalgia with her. Darren Nye, you're from England, so it's 18:30 or 6:30 on the other side of the coin. Very cool. James Vipperman, still need the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I could see the Wind Waker HD coming out even with the Wind Waker being on NSO. Because the Wind Waker from Wii U would still work independently on Nintendo Switch because Nintendo Switch owners don't have access to the Nintendo GameCube app, even if they have expansion pack, because that's only for Nintendo Switch 2. And not every one of those 155 million Nintendo Switch owners will necessarily upgrade to NS2. On the same side of that fact, not all of these 155 million people will want to buy the Wind Waker for their base Nintendo Switch. But you certainly do open up the possibilities of folks to buy the Wind Waker HD if they put it on Nintendo Switch. I also think a Nintendo Switch 2 version, whether or not they add anything like a dungeon or just throw it in 4K, maybe experiment with what is it like in 60 frames per second, could be solid. Regarding Twilight Princess HD, though, it didn't get as good of a glow up as I think it deserved. I don't think it was likely to expect it back then, like 12 years ago, 11 years ago, to look like the tech demo of Zelda from E3 2011, but a little bit better than it did. Nowadays, though, since more time has passed from that Wii U HD version of Twilight Princess to current than from the original GameCube/Wii release of Twilight Princess to the HD release, I think now we can expect Twilight Princess to come back and it gets a remastered treatment. And it would be incredible if it looked like that tech demo, or better, or something, just comparable, in other words.
Or 7 months until the release of the Super Mario World movie. Let's go.
That was fun. Silksong is number 1 on the eShop. Yeah. I'm not surprised about that. Good for Team Cherry. I hope it sells like crazy. Joycey J. Twilight Princess still needs a full remake. I said what I said. Okay, Joycey. Is this good enough for you? The entire game of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, as it was on Wii/GameCube/Wii U, but given a full visual upgrade so that it looks like the freaking E3 2011 Zelda tech demo, and then some potentially because time has moved on, released for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, with the latter version also being in 4K at 60, and the NS version looking the way it does, good graphics like the tech demo, but in 1080p 30. Is that good enough for you? Looking that good? Or, and getting that experience, let's say next year, like for the 40th anniversary of Zelda. Or waiting another 10 years, and the game being fully remade with greater sophistication, greater size, far more elements, voice acting incorporated, new cinematic cutscenes, some more areas to explore, but being like a Nintendo Switch 3 game that comes out a couple of years into its life. Yeah. A 2026 game, as I explained earlier, or a 2036 game, but it's completely remade, and the voice acting and the even better graphics and stuff. Joycey J, what do you pick? And everyone for that matter, what do you pick? I think I'm good enough. Well, I think I'm good enough with it looking like a spruced up E3 2011 tech demo and getting to play it next year. But I would be very interested in how good it could look in 10. But in 10, or I guess in 11, right? I know we'd get another new Zelda game of some sort. So I think I'm going to pick the E3 tech demo to get it next year, than having Twilight Princess being spruced up and completely remade in 11, just because by 11, when that time comes around, there'll be some other type of Zelda game that looks that good then. They could have kept Twilight Princess HD. It didn't look much different than the OG, except we see more clearly how funny Ilia looks now. Yeah, it didn't get quite like the Wind Waker treatment. The Wind Waker, and you could even argue that the Wind Waker needed less of a treatment, but the Wind Waker got more of a treatment. James Vipperman, I wish Nintendo would remake Eternal Darkness. Imagine the crazy new insanity effects they could make on Switch and Switch 2. Yeah, think about the Joy-Con and the Joy-Con 2. How the Joy-Con actually make noises based off of their vibrational frequency capabilities. Taking the Joy-Con out, putting it on the table in front of you, and seeing it shaking around, having it curve this way, having it curve that way. Intentionally putting it into mouse mode and smearing it back and forth to like wipe the fog off of your mirror, and then boom, being, scared by ghost or some demon or something like that in the reflection. They could add to the game. That game could benefit from a remake, even a straight up port, or a sequel. Continue the legacy. build a legacy. It's a one entry title, so it doesn't really count as a franchise, you know. I still think my girl Telma looked good no matter. I wish Nintendo... Okay, I read that one. Since I like Bloom, I would have added more Bloom to Twilight Princess HD. In my opinion, you can never have too much Bloom. Bloom over ray tracing any day. I'd say that's probably accurate. Tracy J, I'll wait 10 more years. Give them a chance to do it right. It's like they aren't proud of TP. Add more quests and enemies in Hyrule Field. Darren Nye votes for tech demo. Tracy J, the tech demo lives in my head. Repeat on rent free. Yeah. I will give you that. More enemies in Twilight Princess. Yeah. I wanted that tech demo so long, but they gave us Dragon Drive instead. Oh, you know what? That's gonna be fun. That's you're gonna see what I'm gonna do just in a moment. Let's see. All right, you're gonna love this poll. This poll is great. This poll is funny. this poll is too funny. How many people are in here right now? 22 people in here right now. That means this should be a little bit humorous. We're ranging between 22, 23 and 32, 47 at one time. All right. By the way, speaking of people, time, etc. That guy B, Zelda for sure. That's right. Twilight Princess HD, or remastered I should say, is winning the poll at 83%. What I was saying though is we hit our time for the stream. Any super chats, donos, subscriptions at this point will stretch out the stream, make it last longer, and also contribute to this total over here. In which if the total is hit, we're giving out a copy of Hollow Knight Silksong. Otherwise, as you know, if you've been watching long enough, and if not, well, you know now, these streams are a little bit on the shorter, more condensed of streams out there on the internet. They are 64 minutes in length. We have gone longer. We have had a couple of hour-long streams. We've had streams where we've gone over 2 hours and we've given out multiple eShop cards and we had the community popping and we had several dozen people in here having a great time. I'm still having a great time right now, but I do have some things to do. I have to go to work eventually. Technically, I still have like another 45 minutes before I have to leave. That'll be 11:30 my time. Yeah, I could even go a little bit longer, like probably till 11:45. Then I'd have to go. But yeah, I still have some things to do. But talking video game talk, that's always high up on my priority list to do in the day, especially when we have a cool community like this to talk with and to see you all here in the chat. Darren Nye, I would love to see a new Pilot Wings game. Yeah. Pilot Wings might be able to work as its own title, but I could really see Pilot Wings syncing up well in my idea for Nintendo Extreme Sports Racing, where you start off skydiving, Pilot Wings style, land on top of a mountain, snowboard down it, hop off, and land on top of a jet ski, race around through the waters back into the middle of the mountain to then hop off, land on a motocross bike, and excite bike your way through the mountain. And that's one grand course, one long lap with different checkpoints along the way. And that's one island. And you have 8 islands in the game. So you have 8 different epic experiences of this gliding down aspect into snowboarding, into jet skiing, into motocrossing. You could play them independently. So if you wanted to do like just 8 snowboarding courses in a row, you could, or just 8 wave race sequences, or just 8 excite bike sequences. But otherwise, the game's intent is, you play like this 12-minute-ish long mega course, and that's what you get. Meanwhile, in the distance, as you're jet skiing, you can still see some action going on the mountain. You can still see in the distance some people already going through motocross. That'd be pretty sweet. Online, multiplayer, 12-person races, something like that. I think that would be appropriate. Dang, that'd be so much fun. I would take the GameCube version of Twilight Princess over Dragon Drive. J Big, that's funny. Work, boo. Yeah, Joycey J. But work is fun. I love teaching martial arts. That guy B, I'm at home but still working. Nice. Darren Nye, yeah, that would be awesome. I've also wanted a new F-Zero for so long. I think we'll get it. I think that F-Zero 99 was a little bit of a testing ground for Nintendo to see what's the interest in F-Zero as an IP. Do people like this high-octane racing experience still? Let's go with something on the safer side in terms of budget, probably. Not that the game didn't cost nothing or was easy to make, but not as big of a budget as a brand new 3D high-octane F-Zero, right? But if that game was still being downloaded, still being played by an active community, which it was, we saw updates, be given to it for quite a while after release. I think that bodes well that we will eventually get a new F-Zero. Joyce J, you work from home too, just making a quick lunch so you don't pass out. Yeah, don't pass out, make a quick lunch. Okay, everyone. I guess I'll give it 2 minutes. If in the next 2 minutes we get a super chat, dono, subscription, we'll let the stream last longer. If not, that's okay. There's never any pressure. I enjoy talking. I like this community. I like seeing you all here. It's a lot of fun. But since I've got some other things that I have to do too, that'll be a good exit point. But I'll be happy enough to stay in longer and squeeze a little bit of time to make other stuff happen before going to work, if that's the other case. Let's see, what do we got here? Hopefully you've all had a good time. Boo Mini, back for 9 minutes. Oh, well, that's hard to leave the stream now that Boo Mini is back, So Boo Mini, I was just about to say, I was saying a minute ago that I'll probably end the stream in a minute, unless if there's any subscription, gifted subs, super chat, which would help stretch out the stream, because I probably have to realistically leave in 40 minutes, maybe if I'm stretching it, like 40, 50 minutes at most. Got to leave to work. Some other things I have to do in between, but I could squish that stuff in between time if we stretch out the stream. Otherwise, we'll probably be ending it soon. We should all play Mario Kart World on stream. That would be cool. I probably should get a capture card because there's been a lot of people that have said it would be fun to watch me play a game or to play with, but without that capture card, you're looking at this kind of experience of me playing it in the camera and like, that's not the same. My work is baking for my family. They pay me. Cool, Tsukino Ame. That's nice. Okay, that's probably it. I would always feel bad if somebody like donates right at the end when I would close it. If that ever happens, by the way, I'm not going to just leave. I would restart a stream just to say thanks and talk for a few minutes because I've seen that happen at times where somebody donated last minute and like the streamer ended. Probably not intentionally like closing it, but that person never got that, that shout out or, that recognition or got to hear that thanks. And I always want you to know that I'm very grateful for that kind of thing. I'm going to end the poll, by the way. 89% of you would rather have a brand new Zelda Twilight Princess remastered, and 11% of you would rather have Dragon Drive. Or push it to the next stream. Yeah, that's true too, Joycey. I mean, I would do that. At the very least, I would do that. But I would even reopen the stream now and do that if it ever happened. But I would definitely kick off the next stream with that too. Okay. Well, we had a couple of fun polls. We didn't end up giving a copy away, but this was also our morning stream. Could we end up having another stream today? Maybe. That 3 p.m. slot, though, that's for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Thursday, it's morning, maybe second one in the afternoon. We'll see. But this was fun. Hey, we achieved what we wanted to do today, with the exception of giving out Hollow Knight Silksong. We still talked about it. We still looked at our Famitsu sales. We looked at hardware. We looked at software. And we had a really cool conversation on Metroid and what we want from it. A little bit of the Nintendo Direct. And some Zelda speculation. You can never go wrong with like Zelda speculation and what you want. That's why you have my deepest respect, man. You're an awesome guy. Thank you, that guy B. I appreciate it. Thanks, that guy B. If you come back later, yeah, I'll see you for some more of these. These are pretty fun. We do a lot of good. Joycey J, you can't stay on here forever. We know you have things to do. Or can I? Could I? Could I just pick up my phone, stream with this, and just bring it around with me 24 hours a day? Maybe. Okay. You all take care. Have a good one. I might be back on later for some more. And you know what? If I come back on, I'll still keep the intent for giving out Hollow Knight Silksong a thing. So that'll carry over. Because it is really exciting when somebody in chats gets to win. And if somebody gets to win tonight versus this morning, hey, that's all good, So maybe I'll see you all later. But take it easy for now. Have a good rest of the day or good night if you are, one of our European friends watching or somebody from even further east. Go play some games. Free up your internet and maybe download Hollow Knight Silksong or The Murder Hotel or play some Splatoon 3 or whatever you do. All right. Bye, y'all.